Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech. You know, right now, there's this really weird thing happening in the tech world. On one hand, you've got CEOs practically shouting from the rooftops about a golden age powered by AI. But on the other, the market's acting like it's getting ready for a hurricane. So what's actually going on here? And this quote from Qualcomm CEO, it just hits the nail on the head. He says AI is probably underestimated. Think about that. That's the kind of wild optimism that's driving the whole industry. But it's also smashing right into a wall of fear from the market.
All right, so to really get our heads around this, here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into this tech paradox. Then, we'll see why AI is basically the new foundation for everything. After that, we'll look at what consumers are actually doing. We've also got to talk about Tesla's absolutely wild trillion-dollar vote. And finally, we'll piece it all together to see how the future is literally being rewired. Okay, so first up, the tech paradox. Why are CEOs so incredibly optimistic when the markets are so nervous? Well, let's start with the bull case. You've got these company leaders who are they're reporting amazing results, and they could not be more excited about the future. I mean, listen to this. You've got Qualcomm, the chip giant, saying their strategy is playing out perfectly. Then there's Chime, the fintech company, with huge revenue growth, saying they're executing really, really well. And Lyft, they're hitting all-time highs for active riders. It's not just one company. It's this consistent drumbeat of success and momentum. But, and this is a big but, the market is singing a totally different song. Stock prices aren't living up to the hype, and all the big picture economic data is flashing warning signs about job losses and other worries. So, how can both of these things be true? What's giving these execs all this confidence? Well, it all boils down to two letters: AI. Yeah, AI is the new bedrock. It's the engine that's driving this massive, fundamental shift in the whole industry. And honestly, the scale of what's happening, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. Just look at this number, $3 trillion. That's what Morgan Stanley thinks we're going to need just for the data centers to power this AI revolution by 2028. That's not the whole thing, just the buildings and servers. It's like a new gold rush, but for computing power. And in a gold rush like this, you have companies like Qualcomm who see a huge opportunity, but they're playing it smart. They aren't just focused on the part where you train the AI models. Nope, they're looking at the next step, which is arguably even bigger, actually using that AI out in the real world. So that next phase, it has a name: inference. You could think of it like this. Training is teaching the AI. Inference is when the AI actually does its job at a massive scale. It's when AI stops being a cool experiment and becomes a product that delivers real results. The catch? It takes an insane amount of power, and it has to be super efficient. And that is exactly the kind of problem Qualcomm has been solving for years. You see, they're taking everything they learned from making super power-efficient chips for our phones and applying it to AI. It's a huge bet, but they're confident. Their CEO basically said, look, don't ever bet against us. We're a technology company, and this is what we do. And hey, it's not just Qualcomm saying this. Look at ARM. These are the folks who design the blueprints for like almost every chip in the world. Their business is absolutely exploding because of AI. And just look at how fast this is happening. Last year, data centers were about 10% of ARM's royalty money. Their projection for 2026, double that, 20%. That kind of jump is it's wild. And it's all being driven by this relentless demand for more and more AI computing power. Okay, so the AI boom is real. The investment is pouring in. But at the end of the day, for any of this to matter, people, you and me, we still need to be out there spending money. So what's the story with the average consumer? Well, you might be surprised. It looks like they're actually doing pretty well. Let's take a look at Chime, the fintech company. They have a really good view into the finances of a huge slice of America. In their revenue, it's up a whopping 29% compared to last year. That's huge. And we're not just talking about abstract percentages. That growth translates to 400,000 new active members. Not over a year, but in just the last quarter. That's a ton of new people signing up and using their services. And this is where it gets really interesting. The CEO of Chime comes out and says, point blank, we see a very healthy consumer. He's saying that all the doom and gloom that investors are worried about, they're just not seeing it in their data. In fact, they're seeing the opposite. People are actually increasing what they call discretionary spending.
So what does that mean? Where's the money going? Well, their data shows double-digit spending increases at places like Costco and Amazon. People are going out to restaurants more, and they're using convenience services like DoorDash and Uber Eats more often. You know, when people are willing to pay extra for convenience, that's a really strong signal that they're feeling pretty good about their finances.
And it's not an isolated story either. Remember Lyft? They're seeing their strongest rider growth ever, hitting all-time highs. So all this data paints a picture of a consumer who is way more resilient than the market gives them credit for. And that brings us to another kind of contradiction, one that's not just about data, but about a massive, high-stakes bet on a single person. All right, let's talk about Tesla, because this vote on Elon Musk's pay package, it's so much more than just a number. It's really a trillion-dollar question about how much you're willing to bet on a single, visionary leader. So the proposal on the table is this 10-year compensation package that could be worth, and this is just mind-boggling, $1 trillion. But let's be clear, this isn't just handing him a pile of cash. It's all tied to hitting some of the most insanely ambitious goals you've ever heard of. And I mean, these goals are straight out of science fiction. We're talking about delivering 20 million cars, building 1 million humanoid robots, getting 1 million robotaxis on the road. And on top of all that, hitting some truly massive financial and market cap targets. It's a lot. So you can imagine the debate around this is pretty intense. And it really comes down to two completely different ways of looking at Tesla and Elon Musk. On one side, you have the Tesla board. Their argument is pretty simple and pretty absolute. They basically say he's the only person on planet Earth that can do this. For them, he is irreplaceable. But then you have the other side, major investors like the biggest pension fund in the US. Look at this and see a giant flashing red light. For them, this is the textbook definition of key man risk. Their argument is that putting all your eggs in one basket, no matter how brilliant that person is just too dangerous. You're concentrating all this power and all this risk on one individual. So how do you even begin to make sense of all this? You've got this AI boom, a surprisingly strong consumer, and this all-or-nothing bet on a single CEO. It's a lot to reconcile. So let's try and tie this all together, because what we're seeing here isn't just a bunch of random news stories. It's like the entire future is being rewired right in front of us. And maybe, just maybe, the old rules don't work anymore. This is all being driven by the insane, transformative power of AI. It's creating a whole new set of winners and losers, a completely new economic reality. And you kind of need a new playbook to even understand it.
And this brings us right back to that quote from the beginning. Remember? The CEO of Qualcomm compared this moment to 1999 and the start of the internet. He said, "We all thought we knew how big the internet was going to be, and we were all wrong. It's way bigger." And his point is, AI is going to be even bigger than that. We're underestimating it all over again.
And that, right there, is the grand contradiction we've been talking about. The market is looking at today. It's worried about interest rates, about next quarter's earnings, about all the short-term jitters. But these CEOs? They're looking 10, 20 years down the road. They're building for a multi-trillion-dollar AI future that most of us can't even fully imagine yet.
So what we're living through right now is a huge historic inflection point. And it really leaves us with one massive, powerful question to think about. As AI completely rewires our economy, which force is going to win out? The audacious, long-term vision of a handful of leaders, or the collective short-term caution of the entire market? If you enjoyed this deep dive, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe.